All right, so you're gearing up for that Nursery School Head Teacher interview. Well, buckle up because we're diving deep into some of those tricky questions they might throw your way.
And we're not just going to help you answer them.
Right.
We're going to help you understand what those interviewers are really looking for.
Exactly. We'll be using RoleCatcher's career and interview guides.
Oh, and we've got some cool insights on how AI can give your application a real boost.
Yeah, RoleCatcher has some pretty awesome AI features that we'll get into.
Definitely. But before we jump into the questions,
Okay.
let's just take a step back and really paint a picture of what this role really entails.
Right.
You know, a nursery school head teacher, it's not just about loving kids, right?
Yeah, you're not just playing games all day.
Exactly. You're leading a team.
Yeah, you've got responsibility.
You're shaping young minds. You're managing the daily flow of the school.
Right.
You're even handling admissions.
Wow. So it's a lot more than just like
Yeah.
the cute little classroom.
It's a dynamic position.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It is. And speaking of navigating RoleCatcher's career guide, actually mentions that this job
Yeah.
is projected to grow by 7% over the next decade.
The hot field.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong signal that passionate educators like you out there
Absolutely.
are in demand.
Yeah. So nailing this interview is so important.
Okay.
So let's dive into some of the questions you might face.
I forgot.
And one of the most common ones you'll likely hear is, can you tell us about your experience working with young children?
All right, that seems pretty straightforward,
Mm-hmm.
but I bet there's more to it.
Right. It's not just about listen off your past jobs.
Right.
It's about your approach.
Right?
What makes you unique as an educator?
Okay.
What specific moments can you share
Right.
that really show your passion and your expertise?
Okay. I like that.
They might even follow up with something like, tell me about a time you had to handle a challenging situation with a child.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
You know, getting real.
Getting real. Yeah, and that's where those vivid examples become so crucial.
Absolutely.
RoleCatcher's Guide actually has a really great profile of an entry-level nursery school assistant.
Oh, I love that example.
And their journey is so inspiring.
Yeah.
It highlights those specific contributions and a genuine passion for the work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good reminder that, you know, all of your experiences have shaped you as an educator.
Absolutely. And that's something that the AI can really help you with.
Oh, yeah.
RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze a job description, and then it can tell you, hey, these are the skills you should emphasize.
So it's like having
That's
someone,
it.
it's like having a cheat sheet.
Yeah, reading the interviewer's mind almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we got to tailor our answers to each specific school.
For sure.
Got it. Okay.
So let's move on to another common question.
Okay.
This one you'll probably hear too. How do you approach creating a curriculum for young children?
Okay. Creativity time.
This one is all about showing your creativity and your understanding of how little ones develop. Okay, so it's not
And it's not about generic lesson plans.
right.
You really got to show them how you build something that engages those kids,
Right.
sparks that love of learning.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
It's got to be fun.
And I imagine they're looking for how you adapt your teaching to meet the needs of each child.
Oh, absolutely.
Like not every kid learns the same way.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So you really want to be ready to talk about specific methods and activities that you've seen work.
Okay, so like hands-on stuff.
Hands-on and examples. of how
Exactly.
it- okay.
For example, have you ever used like Reggio Emilia or Montessori in your curriculum?
Oh, yeah. Those are big.
Those are really popular approaches these days.
Yeah. So mentioning those shows that you're up on things.
Exactly. It shows you're familiar with different ways of teaching.
Okay. So it's connecting those approaches to the needs and interests of the kids.
That's the key.
I like that.
That's the key.
Okay.
Now get ready for this one. This one's a bit tricky.
Okay. How do you manage behavior in a classroom of young children?
Ooh, yeah. Because sometimes those little ones,
No, they can be a handful.
they can be a handful.
This is all about gauging your experience,
Okay.
your discipline approach, and how you create that safe and structured environment.
So you really want
What they're looking for is like, are you going to
What's
be
that?
too strict?
Yeah, you want to avoid mentioning anything that sounds overly strict.
Okay.
Instead, you want to focus on strategies like positive reinforcement,
Mm-hmm.
clear communication,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to understand what's at the root of the behavior.
So it sounds like it's about finding a balance
It is.
between setting those boundaries
Yes.
and creating a nurturing environment.
Absolutely.
Okay, I like that. And be ready for a follow-up. Like, describe a time when you had to deal with a particularly disruptive child.
Ooh, Yeah, getting specific.
Getting specific. This is your chance to really show off your problem-solving skills and your ability to, create that positive learning environment for everybody.
For everybody, not
Yeah.
just the well-behaved ones.
Exactly.
Okay, so turn those challenges into learning opportunities.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, are you ready for another one?
I'm ready to bring it on.
All right. How do you approach working with parents and families of young children?
Oh, the parent-teacher dynamic.
Right.
That's a big one.
This one's all about communication and respect.
Yeah, because sometimes
Sometimes it can get tricky.
parents can be
Oh, yeah.
a little intense.
Intense is a good word, but the interviewers, they want to see that you can handle it.
Right.
They want to see your experience in building those relationships and navigating those sometimes tricky conversations.
Mhm.
So think about your strategies.
Like, what would you say?
Well, for example, do you send out regular newsletters?
Okay, keeping everybody in the loop.
In the loop.
Yeah.
Do you use any digital platforms for communication?
Yeah, like a parent portal or something.
Exactly. And how good of a listener are you?
Mm,
Because that's key.
that's huge.
Parents, they want to be heard.
They do.
And how do you address those concerns
Right.
promptly and respectfully?
Yeah, not dismissively.
No,
Okay.
that's so important.
And of course, being able to handle any disagreements maturely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like sometimes parents don't agree with your methods.
They don't, and you've got to be ready for that.
Okay, so they might even follow up with something like,
Mm-hmm.
how would you handle a situation where a parent disagreed with your teaching methods?
That's a really common follow-up.
Okay, so,
And that's your chance to show off those conflict resolution skills.
right, like finding that common ground.
Exactly.
Okay.
Working collaboratively,
Yeah. Mhm.
And here's where the AI comes in handy again.
Oh, how so?
RoleCatcher's AI, it can actually analyze a school's profile,
Mm.
and it can give you insights into how they communicate with parents
What?
and what their expectations are for parent involvement.
That's so helpful.
So you can really tailor your answer
Yeah.
to fit what they're looking for.
So it's not just about what you say,
Yeah.
but it's about how you say it,
It is.
especially when you're talking about sensitive topics.
Especially when you're talking about sensitive topics. All right, are you ready for the next one?
Get me? I'm ready.
Okay. How do you approach creating a safe and inclusive learning environment for young children?
Okay, that is so important.
It's so crucial.
Yeah, because every child
Every child.
deserves to feel safe and respected
Absolutely.
and valued in the classroom.
Yeah, and they want to see your commitment to diversity, to equity, to inclusion.
Okay, yeah.
So think about some specific examples of how you've fostered inclusivity in your classrooms.
Like, what kind of things would you suggest?
Well, how have you addressed biases?
Okay, yeah, that's a tough one.
It is,
But important.
but important.
Yeah.
And how have you created a welcoming environment for all learners?
Yeah, no matter their background or their
No matter what.
abilities.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so and how you cater to different learning styles and needs, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because kids learn in all different ways.
they do.
And so they might ask you something like, how do you ensure that children with diverse learning needs are supported?
Okay, so that's where IUPs come in, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can talk about IEPs.
Good.
You can talk about your approach to differentiated instruction,
Mm-hmm.
which basically means tailoring your teaching to meet those needs.
So meeting each kid where they're at.
That's it.
That's
So it's
what-
about seeing each child as an individual,
I like it.
celebrating their unique strengths.
Yeah, because everybody has strengths.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about professional growth.
Oh, okay. Our own growth
Mm-hmm.
as educators.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
they might ask you something like, how do you approach professional development for yourself and your staff?
Okay, so staying ahead of the curve.
Staying ahead of the curve.
Yeah. What are some ways that we can show that commitment to continuous learning?
Well, you can start by sharing your personal approach to professional development. So
Right.
what workshops or conferences have you attended?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Keeping up with the latest
Right on.
research.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you taken any online courses?
Yeah, those are really popular.
They are.
Could be.
And have you earned any certifications?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like the Child Development Associate CDA credential?
Okay. Yeah. Those can really
Those are really valuable.
boost a resume.
Yeah. So it's all about showing them that you're dedicated to your craft
Right.
and constantly seeking ways to improve.
Okay.
And don't forget to highlight your mentorship skills.
Oh, yeah. Because as a leader, you're going to be.
You're going to be mentoring other teachers.
Yeah.
So talk about how you've helped your staff grow
Okay.
through professional development opportunities,
Hmm.
maybe mentoring programs,
Hmm.
or even just sharing resources and best practices.
So building that culture of learning within the whole school.
Okay, I like that.
So be ready for that follow-up.
Which is?
What specific areas of professional development are you currently focusing on?
Okay, so they want to know, like, what are you excited about?
What are you passionate about?
Yeah, like, where are you going next?
So you can share your passion for particular educational philosophies.
Right, or teaching methods.
Yeah, okay.
So it's really about showing them that you're a lifelong learner
Right.
who's always eager to grow and evolve
Right.
as an educator.
Awesome.
All right, you ready for another one?
Yeah, bring it on.
How do you approach managing a team of teachers and support staff?
Okay, so this is the leadership question.
Leadership.
Yeah.
It's not just about giving orders.
Right.
It's about so much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to see your experience,
Right.
your leadership style,
Right.
and how you foster that collaboration and a positive work environment.
Yeah, nobody wants to work with a grumpy boss.
Yeah. Nobody wants to work with a grumpy boss.
Yeah.
So think about how you communicate, how you delegate tasks,
Right.
how you build trust
Okay.
and empower your team.
Okay, and like real examples of...
Be ready to share those examples
Okay.
of successful team management strategies.
Okay, so like a time when you
Yeah.
turn things around.
Or a time when you had a really great team that
Yeah.
worked really well together. So it sounds like they're looking for someone who can create a really
Positive
Yes.
team environment.
cohesive, supportive team environment
Okay.
and be ready for that follow-up.
Okay, which is...
How do you handle conflict within a team?
Okay, so disagreements happen.
They happen
And-
be ready.
How do you deal with it?
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is your chance to demonstrate those conflict resolution skills.
Right.
So talk
Well,
about,
what would you say?
well, how do you facilitate open communication?
Okay, everybody's got to be able to talk it out.
Talk it out. Yeah.
How do you find common ground?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you foster a culture of respect?
Where everybody feels safe to speak up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI
Oh, yeah. AI is our friend.
can actually analyze a school's work environment
Right.
and suggest leadership approaches that align with their values.
Wow. So again, it's like
It's like having a
tailor in it.
tailor in it
Yeah, that specific school.
to this specific school.
Okay.
So it's about adapting your style
Mm-hmm.
to fit the school.
Okay, I like that.
All right, ready for another one?
Yeah, hit me with it.
How do you approach working with children with special needs or disabilities?
Okay, so this is a really important topic.
Yeah, this one requires sensitivity
Yeah.
and a deep understanding.
Because every child deserves...
Every child deserves the opportunity to learn and grow.
Mm-hmm. And to feel supported.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they want to see your experience in this area,
Okay.
your approach to supporting diverse learners.
Mm-hmm. And your commitment to creating that inclusive learning environment.
Right.
So think about your experience with IEPs.
Okay. Those are
Individualized education programs.
Yeah.
And how you've adapted your teaching
Right.
to meet individual needs.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
one-size-fits-all approach
doesn't work.
doesn't work.
Okay.
So it's not just about awareness. It's
Okay.
about having the skills and experience
Right. To make it happen.
to create that truly inclusive classroom.
Okay. And so be ready for a follow-up. Like,
Mhm.
how do you ensure that all children feel included and supported in your classroom?
That's a great one.
Okay.
So this is your chance to talk about how you foster a culture of acceptance.
Okay.
How do you celebrate differences?
Mhm.
How do you promote empathy among all the students?
So it's about creating that sense of belonging.
Exactly.
Okay.
For all children,
Right.
regardless of their abilities or
Right.
backgrounds.
Yeah. Everybody's welcome.
Everybody's welcome.
Okay. I like that.
All right, next question. What is your approach to managing a budget and resources?
Okay. The financial side of things.
The financial side.
Yeah. It's important. Those dollars got to
Dollars got to stretch.
stretch
So they want to see
that you're responsible.
that you're responsible with money
Okay.
and that you can make the most of limited resources,
Mm-hmm.
which is often the case.
Yeah. And early childhood education.
So highlight your experience with budgeting,
Okay.
tracking expenses,
Hmm.
and even seeking out funding opportunities.
Oh, yeah. Getting to create
In creative.
grants and things.
Exactly. You can even talk about strategies for maximizing those limited resources.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're really good at repurposing materials.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you collaborate with other schools.
Oh, yeah. Sharon is Karen.
Sharon is Karen. Exactly.
Okay.
So it sounds like they're looking for someone who's
Resourceful.
resourceful,
Okay.
innovative,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to finances.
Okay. And so they might follow up with.
How would you prioritize spending in a situation where funding was limited.
Okay, tough
Point
choices.
of choices.
Gotta make
True.
them. You gotta make them.
Yeah.
This is your chance to showcase your decision-making skills
Okay.
and your ability to balance those competing needs.
Right, because everybody wants a piece of the pie.
Everybody wants a piece.
Okay.
So it's about making those tough choices while keeping the best interests of the children
Right.
and the school
At the forefront.
at the forefront.
Okay.
All right, you ready for another one?
Yeah, let's do it.
How do you handle conflict within a team?
Okay, so disagreements happen.
They do.
We've got to figure out how to...
You got to figure out how to navigate that,
Yeah.
especially as a leader.
Especially as a leader. Yeah.
Conflict resolution is crucial.
Okay.
They want to know that you can handle these situations in a way that's productive.
Right. Not just like,
Not just brushing it under the rug.
yeah, sweep it under the rug.
No.
You want to mediate fairly.
Okay.
You want to foster respect and open communication.
Talk about strategies.
Strategies, exactly. Like active listening.
Right.
Facilitate an open dialogue so they feel comfortable coming to you
Yeah.
when there is a conflict.
Yeah.
So they're looking for someone who can keep the peace.
Right.
Create a positive work environment,
Even when there are disagreements.
even when there are disagreements.
Okay.
And be ready for a follow-up.
Okay.
Describe a time when you had to mediate a conflict between two staff members.
Okay, so real examples again.
Real examples,
Yeah.
and this is your chance to show off your ability to find that win-win solution.
Okay. Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Yeah.
So turn those conflicts into opportunities
Right.
for growth.
For growth and understanding.
Exactly.
Okay. I like that.
All right, ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's keep going.
What are your long-term goals for this nursery school?
Ooh. Oh. Okay. Big picture thinking.
Big picture thinking. This is your chance to dream big.
Okay.
But they also want to see...
That you're grounded in reality.
Yeah, that you have a plan.
Okay.
So they want to see your strategic thinking skills,
Right.
your understanding of the school's strengths and challenges, and your ability to articulate a vision for the future.
Okay. So what are some good goals to mention?
Well, you could talk about improving academic outcomes,
Okay. Yeah, that's always important.
creating a more inclusive environment,
Mm-hmm.
expanding professional development opportunities, things like that.
Okay, those are good ones.
You know, specific, measurable, achievable goals.
Okay.
And don't forget to talk about how you would involve the staff, the parents, the
yeah.
community.
Yeah, everybody's got to be on board.
Everybody's got to be on board.
Okay.
It's about showing that you can collaborate.
Right.
You're a leader who brings people together
Yeah,
to work towards that shared vision.
I like that a lot.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you research the school's current goals.
Oh, wow.
So you can really tailor your answer
Okay.
to align with their existing plans?
That's really helpful.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because you don't want to come in
You don't want to come in
sounding
like
like,
you're going to change everything.
yeah,
You want to show that you're invested
right.
in their success.
Your success.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, next question.
Okay.
What steps do you take to stay current with the latest research and best practices in early childhood education?
Okay, we touched on this before.
We did.
But this is really about showing that you're
A lifelong learner.
the lifelong learner, that you're dedicated
yeah.
to staying ahead of the curve.
To staying ahead.
Yeah. So,
So talk about your resources.
okay.
What journals do you read?
Okay.
Are you a member of any professional organizations?
Like NAEYC.
NAEYC, exactly.
Okay.
What conferences do you attend?
Mm-hmm.
Do you use any online resources?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So it's all about showing that you're actively seeking out new knowledge.
Right. And constantly refining your skills.
Okay.
And they might follow up with, can you give an example of a recent research study or educational trend that has influenced your teaching practices?
Okay, so this is about connecting that research
Yes, connecting it to the classroom.
to what you do every day.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is your chance to show that you're not just following the latest trends.
Right.
You're actually evaluating them critically
Thoughtful.
and applying them
Yeah.
thoughtfully in your classroom.
Okay, I like that a lot.
All right, you ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
How do you approach building relationships with the families of your students?
Okay, parent-teacher relationships.
Parent-teacher partnerships.
Yeah, they're so important.
They're essential
Yeah.
for creating that supportive learning environment
For everybody.
for everybody.
Yeah.
So they want to see that you get it,
Mm-hmm.
that you understand the importance of family engagement,
Right.
and that you have strategies for building those strong and collaborative relationships.
Okay, so like what kind of strategies?
Well, do you have clear communication channels?
Okay, yeah, like
How do you communicate?
right.
Do you involve parents, in the classroom?
Mm-hmm.
Do you foster that culture of respect?
Right. Mutual respect.
Mutual understanding.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they're looking for someone who can build the real sense of community within the school.
Where parents feel valued.
Valued, connected, like they're part of the team.
Okay. And of course, be ready for that follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
How would you handle a situation where a parent disagreed with your teaching methods?
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one.
It's a tough one, but
it happens.
Yeah.
So this is your chance to demonstrate
those conflict resolution skills.
Conflict resolution.
Okay.
Your ability to communicate effectively with parents, even when things get a little tricky.
Yeah.
So it's about building trust, finding solutions for everyone.
For everyone.
All right, last question for this part.
Yeah. How do you stay informed about current trends and changes in early childhood education?
Okay, staying up to date.
Staying up to date.
We kind of touched on this before.
You did.
But this is about showing
that you're engaged.
That you're engaged in the field.
Yeah.
Not just resting on your laurels.
Not resting. Got to stay fresh.
Stay fresh.
So talk about your favorite journals, organizations, conferences, online resources, and don't forget about those online communities and social media groups.
Oh, yeah. Those are great for connecting with other educators.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's all about showing that you're actively seeking out new knowledge and constantly refining your skills.
Okay.
And be ready for that follow-up question. Can you give an example of a recent research study or educational trend that has influenced your teaching practices?
Okay, so again,
connecting it back.
Connecting it to
the classroom.
What you're actually doing.
What you're actually doing, yeah.
So this is your chance to show that you're not just following trends blindly,
right,
but that you're critically evaluating those new ideas and incorporating them in a thoughtful and intentional way.
Okay, I love that.
Welcome back to our deep dive.
Part 2.
Into acing that nursery school head teacher interview.
Yes.
I hope you're feeling more confident.
Oh, yeah.
And prepared after our first session.
Absolutely.
We unpacked some tough questions.
We did.
And I know our listeners out there are ready to tackle even more.
Yeah, they're eager for more.
Fantastic. Let's jump right back in.
Okay, let's do it.
With a question that assesses your understanding of the broader educational landscape.
Ooh, okay.
How do you stay informed about current trends and changes in early childhood education?
Okay, so this is about being a lifelong learner. And demonstrating that you're on top of the latest research.
Yes.
Best practices.
All of it.
All of it.
They're looking for someone who is actively engaged in the field.
Right, not just coasting.
Not just coasting.
On what you learned.
Years ago.
Back in college.
Exactly.
So how can we impress them with our answer?
We'll start by highlighting your go-to resources.
Okay.
Do you subscribe to any professional journals?
Oh, yeah, those are good ones.
Are you a member of organizations like NAEYC?
The National Association for the Education of Young Children. Those are great examples.
And conferences and workshops are also fantastic ways.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
To stay current.
To stay current.
And don't forget about all the information that's available online.
Online, yeah, webinars, podcasts.
Podcasts like this one.
Like this one.
Exactly.
And many educators are connecting with their peers through online communities or social media groups dedicated to early childhood education.
Those are great resources.
Mentioning these shows.
Yeah.
That you're proactive and eager to learn from others.
Yeah, you're not just sitting in your classroom by yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've shown them we're committed to staying informed.
Right. But what about putting that knowledge into practice?
That's the real test.
That's the real test.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where the follow-up question comes in.
Okay, hit me.
Can you give an example that has influenced your teaching practices?
Oh, okay. So connective theory in practice.
Yes, connecting those dots.
Okay.
Have you incorporated more play-based learning into your curriculum?
That's a good one.
Have you implemented new strategies for supporting children's social, emotional development?
Those are great examples.
It's all about demonstrating that we're not just following the latest fads,
right,
but we're critically evaluating new ideas and applying them in thoughtful and intentional ways.
I like that.
Okay, now let's move on to a question that delves into your leadership philosophy.
Ooh.
How would you describe your leadership style? Now, this is where we get to show off our personality a bit. But it's also important to demonstrate that our leadership style is a good fit for the school's culture and values.
Yeah, you don't want to come across as
Right.
too different.
Not a good fit.
Yeah.
So think about the qualities that make you an effective leader.
Okay.
Are you collaborative, decisive, visionary, maybe a blend of different styles?
I think I would describe my leadership style as empowering and supportive.
Oh, I like that.
You know, I believe in giving my team the autonomy to make decisions and providing them with the resources and guidance they need to succeed.
That's a fantastic example.
Okay.
It shows that you value teamwork.
Yes.
You trust your staff's abilities,
Yeah.
and you're committed to creating a positive and collaborative work environment.
Absolutely.
And speaking of teamwork,
Good.
I bet they might ask about how you handle conflict within a team.
Ooh, yeah. That's a good one.
Right.
Because disagreements happen,
They do.
and we got to figure out how to,
You got to figure out how to navigate that,
Yeah.
especially as a leader.
especially as a leader.
They'll want to hear about your specific strategies for handling disagreements constructively and mediating conflicts fairly.
Okay, so like active listening, open communication, finding that common ground.
Those are all key.
Yeah.
And having a real-life example to share can really bring your answer to life.
Yeah, because anybody can say that they're good at something.
Exactly.
But-
You got to show it.
Yeah, give a concrete example.
Be prepared to describe a time
Okay.
when you successfully mediated a conflict between two team members and the positive outcome that resulted from your approach.
Okay, that's a good tip.
It's all about showing that you can navigate those tricky situations with grace and empathy, turning those conflicts into opportunities for growth and understanding.
Yeah, conflict can be a good thing
It can,
if you handle it right.
if you handle it right.
Now, what about when it's not just interpersonal conflict,
Okay.
but a bigger change initiative
Oh, okay.
for the whole school?
That's a great segue to our next question.
Okay, perfect.
How would you approach implementing a new curriculum or program in the nursery school? Now, change can be challenging,
It can.
especially in a school setting
Yeah.
where routines and traditions are so important.
Yeah, people like their routines,
They do.
so they'll be looking for someone who can lead change effectively,
Absolutely.
but also be sensitive to the needs and concerns of the school community.
Exactly. Think about the steps you would take to ensure a smooth transition.
Okay.
How would you communicate the changes?
To staff, to parents,
To staff, to parents, to the community, how would you address concerns and provide support?
Okay, so it's about bringing everybody along.
It's about creating a shared vision
Yeah.
and making sure that everyone feels informed and prepared for the changes ahead.
So like a good communication plan.
Exactly.
Okay.
And be ready to discuss how you would handle resistance to change
Oh, yeah.
from some staff members.
Because there's always going to be somebody
There's always going to be someone
who's not happy.
who's not happy with the change.
Yeah.
So showcasing your communication and problem-solving skills in navigating those conversations is crucial.
It's about finding that balance again between drive and progress
Yes.
and creating that supportive environment.
Absolutely.
Where everybody feels heard,
And respected.
respected,
Respect.
even if they're not happy with the change.
Exactly. Speaking of creating a supportive environment,
Yeah.
what about those all-important questions around diversity and inclusion?
Oh, yeah. That's a big one
That's a big one.
these days.
That's a perfect transition to our next question.
Okay.
How do you approach creating a safe and inclusive environment for all children in the nursery school?
That is so important.
This one is crucial.
Every child deserves
Every child.
to feel safe and respected and valued in the classroom,
Absolutely.
regardless of their background or
Oh.
individual needs.
They'll want to see your commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion
Okay.
and hear about specific strategies you've used to create a welcoming and supportive environment.
Okay, so like concrete examples
Concrete examples.
of things that you've done in your
It's-
classrooms.
So talk about things like setting clear expectations for behavior.
Okay, yeah. So everybody knows.
Everybody knows the rules.
The rule.
Creating a culture of kindness and respect.
Yeah, where everybody feels comfortable
Comfortable.
and
with that.
safe.
And ensuring that your curriculum is inclusive and represents diverse backgrounds.
So all the children feel represented.
Exactly. And don't forget to mention opportunities you've created for children to learn about and appreciate different cultures and perspectives.
Yes, so look.
So they're not just learning about their own little bubble.
Right, they're learning about
They're learning about the world.
the world.
Yeah.
So it's all about fostering a sense of belonging for all children, and celebrating the unique diversity that each child brings to the classroom.
Absolutely. But what happens when those values are challenged?
Yeah, because unfortunately it happens.
It does. That's where the follow-up question comes in.
Okay.
How do you address incidents of bias or bullying in the classroom?
Okay, so this is a real-world scenario
Real world
that we all have to be prepared for.
that every educator needs to be prepared for.
Yeah.
It's about demonstrating that we have a zero-tolerance policy for bias and bullying,
Yeah.
and that we're committed to creating a safe and supportive environment where every child can learn and grow
Yeah.
without fear of discrimination or harassment.
Okay.
So discuss your strategies
Right.
for addressing these issues directly.
Okay. So, like,
What do you do?
what do you do?
When you see it,
Yeah.
teaching children about respect and inclusivity,
Okay.
and empowering them to report incidents without fear of retaliation.
So they know that they can speak up
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be heard.
And they'll be taken seriously.
Yeah.
It's all about creating a culture
Yeah.
of respect and understanding
Where everybody feels safe.
where everybody feels valued and safe.
Now, switching gears a bit.
Okay.
What about those questions that focus on the practical side of running a school,
Okay.
like resource management?
That's a great segue to our next question.
Okay, perfect.
How do you approach making decisions about how to allocate resources within the nursery school?
Okay, so resource management
Resource management.
is a critical aspect of leadership, especially in early childhood education,
Especially
where budgets are
Man.
often tight.
tight.
They'll want to see that we can make tough decisions and prioritize spending
Yes.
in a way that benefits all students.
That's the key.
Okay.
Think about your approach to gathering input from stakeholders,
Okay.
developing a transparent decision-making process.
Okay, so everybody knows how the decisions are made.
Exactly.
Okay.
Aligning spending with the school's mission and goals.
And evaluating the impact of your decisions.
Okay, so that's a lot of pieces, yeah.
But it's all about demonstrating
Yeah.
that we can be responsible stewards of the school's resources
Okay.
and that we're committed to making choices that benefit all students,
Okay.
and be prepared to address how you would prioritize spending
Okay.
in a situation where funding was limited.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one.
This is a real-world scenario that many schools face,
Yes.
and they'll want to see that you can make tough choices while still maintaining the quality of education
Right.
and supporting the needs of all students.
Okay.
It's all about being resourceful
Resourceful.
and finding creative solutions
Creative solutions, yeah.
to those budgetary challenges.
Now, what about our own professional development?
That's a great transition to our next question.
Oh, okay, good.
How do you approach creating opportunities for professional development for yourself and the teachers at the nursery school? Okay, so this is about showing our commitment to continuous learning
Continuous learning.
and creating a culture
Yes.
of growth and development within the school.
You're right. Think about how you assess the needs and interests of your staff.
Okay.
Allocate resources for professional development. Provide access to relevant training and conferences.
Okay.
And create opportunities for collaboration and shared learning.
Yeah, so it's not just about sending teachers off to workshops.
No, it's about
It's about creating that culture
cultural learning.
of learning.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that learning never stops.
Exactly.
And that we're all constantly evolving and
Yeah.
improving as educators.
Yeah, the field is always changing.
Always changing.
Okay.
And be prepared to discuss specific professional development opportunities
Okay.
that you're currently exploring for yourself.
Okay, so they want to know, what are you excited about?
What are you passionate about?
Yeah, what are you working on? This is your chance to showcase your own passion for learning and your commitment to staying up to date on the latest research and best practices in early childhood education.
Yeah, you got to walk the walk.
You got to walk the walk.
If you're going to talk the talk.
Exactly. And don't forget to mention how you encourage and support the professional development of your staff.
Right, because you're the leader.
You're the leader.
So you're setting that tone.
Creating a culture of continuous learning benefits everyone.
Yeah.
From the teachers to the students.
To the students.
Yeah.
So it's all about creating
It is.
a dynamic and inspiring environment.
Where everyone is committed to growing and evolving as educators.
I love that.
All right, ready for another one?
Yeah, hit me with it.
How do you approach communicating with parents about sensitive or challenging issues related to their child.
Ooh, those tough conversations.
Those tough conversations.
They can be intimidating,
They can be.
but they're an inevitable part of the job. And it's important to handle them with empathy and grace.
They'll want to see that you understand the complexities of parent communication and can navigate those conversations with sensitivity and skill.
Okay, so what are some key strategies for handling those conversations effectively?
We'll start by creating a safe and supportive environment for the conversation.
Okay.
Choose a private setting, free from distractions, and ensure you have ample time.
Yeah, you don't want to be rushed.
No.
Okay.
Begin by acknowledging the parent's feelings.
Okay.
And validating their perspective.
Even if you don't agree with it.
Even if you don't agree.
Okay.
It's all about showing empathy and letting the parent know that you're there to support them and their child.
Okay.
Then share your observations and any relevant data you've collected about the child's behavior or development.
Okay.
Be objective and factual while remaining sensitive to the parent's emotions.
Okay, so stick to the facts.
Stick to the facts.
But don't be a robot.
Right.
Okay.
Finally, work collaboratively with the parent to develop a plan to address the issue.
Okay, so it's a team effort.
It's a team effort.
It's about turning those challenging conversations into opportunities.
Yes.
To build trust.
Trust.
Find solutions. And strengthen that parent-teacher partnership.
Precisely. And don't be surprised if they ask for a real-life example.
Okay.
Can you give an example of a time when you had to have a difficult conversation with a parent, and how did you handle the situation?
Ooh. Okay, so be prepared with...
Like in an example?
An example.
Okay.
That highlights your strengths in these areas and demonstrates a positive outcome.
Okay.
Resultant from your approach.
So it turned out okay.
It turned out okay.
Yeah.
Okay, feeling more confident about those tough conversations.
Yes, definitely.
All right, now let's talk about those all-important relationships with families.
Okay, love it.
That's a great transition to our next question. Perfect.
How do you approach building and maintaining strong relationships with the families of your students?
The parent-teacher partnership.
It's such a crucial aspect of creating a positive and supportive learning environment for children.
Absolutely.
They want to see that you understand the importance of family engagement.
Yeah.
And that you have strategies for building strong collaborative relationships with parents.
So open and frequent communication. Creating opportunities for parent involvement in the classroom and fostering a culture of respect and mutual understanding.
Exactly.
So like newsletters.
Newsletters.
Parent-teacher conferences. A classroom website or blog.
Those are great examples.
Even informal gatherings like coffee chats or potlucks.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's all about finding ways to connect with parents, keep them informed, and make them feel like valued members of the school community.
I love that.
And be prepared to discuss how you handle those situations where a parent might disagree with your teaching methods.
Yes, those tricky conversations.
They happen.
They do.
But it's all about finding common ground.
Common ground.
Building trust.
Trust.
And working together to support the child's best interests.
Absolutely.
Now let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
And talk about staying informed in the wider world of early childhood education.
Okay, I'm ready.
That's a great segue to our next question.
Okay.
How do you stay informed about current trends and changes in early childhood education?
Okay, so this is about...
This one is all about demonstrating that you're a lifelong learner who's dedicated to staying ahead of the curve and bringing new ideas to your school.
Yeah, so those professional journals, organizations, conferences, online resources we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. And don't forget to mention those online communities and social media groups.
Social media.
That can be valuable sources of information and support for educators.
Okay.
It's all about showing that we're actively seeking out new knowledge and constantly refining our skills.
Okay.
And be prepared to discuss a specific example of a research study or educational trend that has influenced your teaching practices.
Okay, so again, connecting it back.
Connecting it back to the classroom.
To what you're doing every day.
To what you're doing every day.
Okay.
This is your chance to showcase your understanding of current trends and how you apply new knowledge in the classroom.
Okay.
It's also an opportunity to demonstrate
Yeah.
that we're not just following trends blindly, but that we're critically evaluating those new ideas and incorporating them in a thoughtful and intentional way.
Okay, so be thoughtful.
Be thoughtful.
Be intentional.
Be intentional.
Okay, I'm feeling more and more confident
That's good.
with each question we tackle.
That's what we like to hear.
What's next on our agenda?
Let's dive into one that explores your leadership style.
Okay.
How would you describe your leadership style?
This is where we can really
Yeah.
let our personalities shine through.
Shine through.
But I imagine they're also looking for someone whose leadership style aligns with the school's culture and values.
You're right. Think about the qualities that make you an effective leader.
Okay.
Are you collaborative?
Okay.
Decisive? Visionary?
Okay.
Maybe a combination of different styles?
I think it's always a combination.
It usually is.
Yes.
Be prepared to discuss your approach to communication, decision-making and delegation,
Okay.
and fostering a positive work environment.
Okay.
It's all about showing that you can lead effectively while also creating a supportive and inspiring environment for your team.
Yeah, nobody wants to work for a jerk.
Nobody wants to work for a jerk. And don't forget that RoleCatcher's AI can analyze the school's work environment
Oh, yeah?
and suggest leadership styles that align with their values.
Okay, so again,
AI can help us
tailor it response.
to that specific school.
Okay, so it's about finding that sweet spot between being authentic to yourself, but also adapting to the specific needs of the school.
Exactly. Now let's tackle a question that assesses your ability to manage change.
Okay, change management.
Change management.
That can be tricky,
Can be tricky.
especially in a school setting where routines and traditions are so important.
So important.
They want to see that you understand the complexities of change and have a strategic approach to implement new initiatives effectively.
Think about how you would build buy-in from staff.
Okay, get everybody on board.
On board.
Yeah.
Address concerns, provide support and resources,
Okay.
and ensure a smooth transition for everyone involved.
Okay, so like a well-thought-out plan.
Exactly.
Okay.
It sounds like they're looking for someone who can be a change agent while also being sensitive to the needs and concerns of the school community.
Okay, so that balance, again,
Balance.
between progress
Yeah.
and keeping everybody happy.
Support.
Yeah.
And be prepared for a follow-up question. Like, how would you handle resistance to change from some staff members?
Oh, yeah, because there's always gonna be.
There's always going to be some resistance.
Yeah.
This is your opportunity to demonstrate your communication and problem-solving skills
Okay.
and your ability to navigate those challenging conversations with grace and empathy.
So it's not about bulldozing through.
Yeah.
It's about really listening
Listen.
and addressing
those concerns.
those concerns.
Yeah. It's all about finding that balance between driving progress and also creating a supportive environment where everyone feels heard and respected.
Okay, so it's a theme.
It's a theme.
It's coming up again and again.
What's next on our list of questions?
Okay, I'm ready.
Let's focus on your commitment to creating an inclusive learning environment.
Okay.
How do you approach creating a safe and inclusive environment for all children in the nursery school?
This is so important.
So important.
Every child deserves to feel safe,
Safe.
respected, and valued in the classroom.
Valued.
Regardless of their background or individual needs,
Absolutely.
they want to see your understanding of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and your strategies for creating a truly welcoming and supportive environment for all learners.
Think about how you establish clear expectations for behavior.
Okay.
Create a culture of kindness and respect. Ensure your curriculum is inclusive
Okay.
and represents diverse backgrounds, and provide opportunities for children to learn about and appreciate different cultures and perspectives.
Okay, so it's about,
It's about more than just words.
right, it's about
It's
actually
about actions.
putting those values into practice.
Exactly.
It's all about fostering a sense of belonging for all children and creating a community where everyone feels valued and... All right, welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've covered so much ground getting you ready for that nursery school head teacher interview.
We've really dug deep into what it takes to excel in this role.
We've tackled those tough interview questions.
And we even explored how RoleCatcher's AI can be a total game changer for your application.
Yeah, AI is really shaking things up in the job hunt these days.
It is. But before we wrap things up and send you off to wow those interviewers,
Okay.
let's take a minute to revisit some key insights from RoleCatcher's career guide.
Yeah, that guide's packed with valuable advice.
It is. And one thing it really emphasizes is career progression.
Okay, so thinking long term.
Exactly. This isn't just about landing a job. It's about stepping onto a path.
Right, so where can this role take you?
Well, the guide highlights how you can move from assistant to teacher to senior teacher. You can even specialize in areas like curriculum development.
Wow, so there's a lot of room for growth.
There is, and interviewers love to see that you're thinking long-term, that you have a vision for your future in early childhood education.
So it's not just about loving kids.
No.
It's about loving a lifelong career in this field.
Exactly, and how do you demonstrate that commitment?
Okay, good question. The guide stresses the importance of continuous learning. Okay, so staying up to date on research, new approaches, all of that.
All of it. The field is constantly evolving, so you've got to stay ahead of the curve.
So it's not enough to teach what you learned back in college.
No.
You need to bring fresh knowledge to your students.
Exactly. And one way to really prove that you're on top of things is through certifications.
Okay, so those credentials can really boost a resume.
They can, the guide mentions a few that can make you stand out, like the Early Childhood Education Certification, the Child Development Associate Credential.
Okay, so those show that you're serious about professional growth?
Exactly. And that's a huge plus for any leadership role.
Okay, I'm taking notes. Now, before we say goodbye,
Yeah.
we need to address the elephant in the room,
The AI.
the AI.
You mean how RoleCatcher's AI features might make some people nervous?
Yeah, like, is this going to replace me as a candidate?
That's a valid concern, but here's the thing.
Okay.
Think of RoleCatcher's AI as your superpowered assistant, not a replacement.
Okay, I like that.
It helps you analyze those job descriptions, tailor your resume, and cover letter, even practice your interview answers.
So it's like having a whole team of experts prepping you,
Exactly.
but it's still your experience, your passion that shines through.
Couldn't said it better. The AI refines, you define.
Love that.
Wow.
It's like having a brilliant editor, but you're still the author of your career story.
Perfect analogy. And one last point on AI.
Okay.
It helps you navigate the increasingly automated side of hiring.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Well, nowadays, your resume might be scanned by a bot before a human even sees it.
Wow, so we got to impress the robots too.
You gotta impress the robots, too. RoleCatcher helps you optimize for both.
Okay, so it's a whole new ball game.
It is.
And preparation is key.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm feeling prepped, polished, and ready to face those interviewers.
That's great to hear.
Any final words of wisdom before we wrap up?
Just this, remember why you're passionate about early childhood education. Let that passion shine through in your answers. You're not just applying for a job, you're embarking on a mission to shape young minds.
That's beautiful.
So go out there and make a difference.
We're rooting for you. And remember, RoleCatcher's full resources are there to support you every step of the way.
From application to interview to land in that dream job.
Until next time, happy learning, everyone.